This is the Beef Checkoff Update on the Rural Radio Network. I'm Alex Makovica, and we are joined by Mitch Rippey, Director of Nutrition and Education with the Nebraska Beef Council, previewing Heart Month. It is hard to believe, Mitch, but we are knocking on the door of February, and it is a busy time of year for you guys. So share a little bit about where you guys are going and what you'll be doing in February.
Yeah, that's right, Alex. And like you mentioned, sure, the calendar hasn't flipped to February yet, but the conversations around heart health don't really wait for the calendar to catch up, and February is Heart Month. And for us in the Nebraska Beef Council, it is honestly one of the most important times of the year. It's really when nutrition, health, real life all come together. So throughout the month, we're working with healthcare facilities across the state, from Omaha all the way out to Alliance, to host heart health nutrition classes and cooking demonstrations. And this year, that includes 18 healthcare facilities statewide, and some major partners too, like Nebraska Medicine, Methodist Health Systems, and Bryan Health. And what these programs are really about is helping people feel more confident with food again, right? When someone's dealing with heart health concerns, food can get really confusing and confusing fast. So a lot of people will leave an appointment thinking that, there's a long list of things that they're not supposed to eat anymore. And that can feel discouraging, honestly, a little intimidating. So we really try to flip that script, right? Instead of focusing on restriction, we're going to focus on realistic choices. We talk about lean beef. We talk about portion size. We talk about cooking methods. And we show people how to build meals that are both nutritious and enjoyable. So, we know that beef provides that high-quality, complete protein, along with other important nutrients like iron and zinc. And many people in these classes already enjoy beef, and our goal is to show them how to use that protein that they know that they like by placing it in the context of a heart-healthy dietary pattern that aligns with the recommendations that they're receiving from their healthcare team. And another reason I think why these programs really work is because where they happen, right? So by partnering directly with hospitals, cardiac rehab programs, and those dietitians, we're aligning our education with what the patients are already hearing from their care teams. So when healthcare professionals are confident in that message, patients feel more comfortable and more empowered then to make food choices at home. And another piece I think too that really matters is accessibility. So that's not just access to the education, but access to the food itself. We know that, here in Nebraska, beef is really the top protein choice. And I see that every time I walk into a healthcare facility. I usually start off the presentations by asking everyone in the room, how many of you already have beef sitting in your fridge or freezer at home? And nearly every time, at least 8 out of 10 hands go up. And I think that tells us something important, right? The beef is available. People enjoy beef. They're familiar with it, and they want to keep that beef in their lives. So our goal is to give them the confidence then to consume that beef that they enjoy and place it in the eating pattern that really aligns then with the dietary guidance that they're getting, again, from their healthcare team. And truth be told, that's really the why behind all this. So we at the Beef Checkoff, we're all about building trust and strengthening that demand. So education, especially when it's grounded in science and delivered through those healthcare partners, I think is one of the most effective ways to do that. Mm-hmm. Heart Month gives us a powerful opportunity to really have these conversations in a way that I think is practical, realistic, relevant to their everyday lives. And at the end of the day, it's about helping Nebraskans take care of their heart health while still enjoying the foods like beef that they know and love.
Mitch, you brought up a couple things that I want to dive in on. One is that you guys just released some results of one of your clinical outreach kind of projects. Can you share a little bit more about that project and what you guys found?
Yeah, great point, Alex. So we actually partnered with the National Cattlemen's Beef Association, in which we had state buy-in opportunities to send high-quality protein toolkits directly to physicians and family care physicians. And they have both patient-focused resources that the physicians can share with their patients, and also very scientific resources for the physicians themselves. And I got to say, 94% of physicians plan to recommend beef more often, but perhaps my favorite statistic is that as a result of these toolkits, 80% of physicians now plan to increase their personal consumption of beef.
You were also talking about kind of meeting these consumers, especially in Nebraska, Mitch, where they are at. And the reality is, like you said, beef is in the freezer, or beef is one of their top protein choices. So for somebody listening, talk maybe about a recipe or a type of cooking or a beef cut that would help them incorporate beef into a heart-healthy lifestyle if they want to start that today?
Absolutely. And, I love a ribeye just as much as the next guy, but a lot of the times when we work with these healthcare facilities, we do need to focus on lean cuts that come from the round or loin part of the beef animal. And honestly, I always look back to, let's not overcomplicate things. Let's try to go ahead and select the lean beef cut in that 3, maybe up to a 6-ounce portion. Let's add in some fruits, vegetables, some whole grains, in any capacity that you want. So we do a lot of the primavera dishes where we use some whole grain noodles, tomatoes, zucchini, that's all our vegetables, and then a 96.4 extra lean ground beef too. So you really round that out with all the different food groups in a heart-healthy manner.
Excellent. Well, we are excited for all things to come in Heart Month, and I'm sure, Mitch, we will catch up when things slow down a little bit for you. So thanks so much for joining us in the meantime. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you, Alex.
All right. Mitch Rippey is joining us, Director of Nutrition and Education with the Nebraska Beef Council, for this week's Beef Checkoff Update.